Something is quietly happening in grocery stores right now, and I don't think most people are catching it in time. 9 name brands that millions of Americans buy every single week. Brands you grew up with, brands you trust, brands that feel like a habit. They are getting so overpriced that I am genuinely stunned. Not a little overpriced. We are talking dollar amounts that, when you add them up over a year, hit you like a punch to the stomach. I started noticing this about 4 months ago when I was doing a regular stock-up run at Walmart. I was standing in the laundry aisle holding a bottle of Tide and a bottle of Great Value detergent, and I just did the math right there on my phone. Per ounce, per load. And my jaw dropped. I put the Tide back and I have not looked at it the same way since. That is what today's video is about. 9 specific name brands where the store brand alternative does the same job, or nearly the same job, for a fraction of the cost. And number 6, I am going to tell you right now that number 6 surprised even me. I have been buying that brand my entire adult life. When I found out how much I was overpaying, I had to sit down. You are going to want to stay for that one. Before we get into it, if you are new here, hit subscribe right now. I put out videos like this every week. Real prices, real shopping experiences, real numbers, no fluff. You are part of the inner circle now, so let's get into it. Product number 1, Tide Laundry Detergent. Let me start with the one that got me started down this whole road. Tide is everywhere. It is the default detergent for a huge percentage of American households. And Procter & Gamble has spent decades building that trust. But here is what I noticed when I actually looked at the numbers instead of just grabbing the orange bottle out of habit. A 92-ounce bottle of Tide Original at Walmart is running right around $11 to $12 right now. That works out to roughly 19 to 21 cents per fluid ounce. The Great Value HE liquid detergent at Walmart, 170 fluid ounces for about $11.70. That is under 7 cents per fluid ounce. We are not even in the same ballpark. What makes this one sting a little more is that Tide has quietly shrunk its bottles over the past few years. They went from 100 ounces down to 92 ounces on a comparable bottle. The official explanation was a formula upgrade requiring less liquid per load. Maybe that is true, but you are still paying the same price or more for less product. That is a real cost difference hitting your household every single month. A warehouse manager I spoke with a while back told me that detergent private labels have some of the tightest quality benchmarks in the entire grocery supply chain. Because performance is measurable. You either get clean clothes or you don't. The store brands know they will lose customers fast if the product underperforms. That keeps quality honest. I bought 4 170-ounce bottles of Great Value detergent last month. Total cost was about $47. If I had bought 4 comparable Tide bottles instead, I would have spent well over $60. That is a $15 savings on one product in one shopping trip. Multiply that across the year and you are talking real money. Great Value detergent stores fine in a cool, dry space. It does not separate or lose potency sitting in a cabinet. I keep 2 extras under the laundry room shelf at all times now. You do not want to be paying premium brand prices when a perfectly good alternative is sitting right next to it at less than half the per ounce cost. This is the easiest switch you can make. Product number 2, Bounty paper towels. This one is personal for me because I was a Bounty loyalist for years. The quicker picker-upper marketing works. It just works. And Bounty is genuinely a good product. Nobody is disputing that. But the price gap between Bounty and store brand paper towels has gotten to a place where brand loyalty is genuinely costing you money. Bounty Select a Size at warehouse stores like Costco runs about 4 cents per square foot in a bulk pack. That is actually one of the better Bounty price points you will find anywhere. But at a standard grocery store or Walmart without a sale, you can easily pay 6 to 7 cents per square foot for Bounty. Compare that to store brand paper towels at Walmart or Target. They're Up and Up or Great Value equivalents, which come in at 2 to 3 cents per square foot in similar pack sizes. Consumer data on paper products consistently shows this category as one of the highest rate shrinkflation categories. Paper towel rolls have gotten shorter over the years, while sheet counts have stayed on the label. Comparing actual square footage is the only honest way to evaluate the real value you are getting. I went through the math on my family's typical paper towel use, We go through about 3 to 4 rolls a week. At Bounty pricing, that is real money adding up fast. I switched to great value paper towels about 6 months ago, and honestly, the difference in daily use is minor. They are not as plush, but they pick things up just fine. I saved somewhere around $50 to $60 over those 6 months just on paper towels. Paper towels do not have a shelf life concern. They do not expire. They do not go bad. Stacking a big supply of them is pure savings with no downside. If there is ever a supply issue or a price spike, you are already covered. Stock up on the store brand now while the price advantage is still this dramatic. Product number 3, Heinz Ketchup. This one feels almost un-American to say, but I am going to say it anyway. Heinz Ketchup has been the undisputed king of the condiment aisle for over 150 years. The thick pour, the red label, the tomato taste. Generations of families have bought it without even glancing at the price, and that is exactly what Kraft Heinz is counting on. A 32-ounce bottle of Heinz Ketchup at most major retailers right now is running between $4 and $5 depending on the store. That is about 13 to 15 cents per ounce. A 38-ounce bottle of Walmart's Great Value Ketchup costs around $2.20. That is under 6 cents per ounce. Same product category, same tomato base, same squeeze bottle, about half the price per ounce. Kraft Heinz has faced real pressure on raw material costs. Tomato paste, corn syrup, vinegar. All of those input costs climbed significantly in the past several years, and Heinz passed a meaningful portion of that cost directly to consumers. Their pricing power is built on decades of brand equity. Consumers assume switching means a quality drop. In many cases, that assumption is just not backed up by reality. I bought the Great Value Ketchup during my last stock-up run, compared them side by side on my scrambled eggs. Yes, I did that. The flavor is close enough that my kids did not notice the difference. That told me everything I needed to know. One 38-ounce Great Value bottle versus one 32-ounce Heinz. I spent $2.20 versus $4.50. Over a year of regular use, the savings on ketchup alone can add up to $30 or $40 for an average household. Ketchup has a long shelf life once unopened. Stock up several bottles, and you will not think about this again for months. Product number 4, Folgers Coffee. I knew this one was going to get some pushback. Folgers, people are loyal. I understand that. But please hear me out on the numbers before you scroll away. Folgers classic roast ground coffee has become one of the more dramatic price per ounce stories in the grocery store over the past few years. A 43.5-ounce canister of Folgers, and I want to point out that they dropped down from 51 ounces years ago, and the price did not drop with it, is running around $10 to $12 at major retailers. That is roughly 23 to 28 cents per ounce. Compare that to Walmart's Great Value Classic Roast Medium Ground Coffee, a 48-ounce canister for around $9.90. That is approximately 21 cents per ounce. But you are getting more coffee in the can than Folgers currently gives you for more money. Walmart has linked in their sourcing documents that their Great Value coffee is produced by major coffee processing operations, and in blind taste tests, it consistently performs close to the national brand at a fraction of the price. A contact in the grocery distribution world told me that ground commodity-grade coffee, which is what most mass-market canned coffee is processed at very similar facilities with very similar Arabica and Robusta blends. The brand name you are paying for is mostly marketing at this level of the market. I bought 2 48-ounce canisters of Great Value coffee last month. Paid under $20 for both. 2 comparable Folgers cans at the same time would have cost me closer to $25 to $26. I make 2 pots a day in my house. That savings adds up to close to $40 a year just on my morning coffee routine. Ground coffee stored in an airtight canister in a cool cabinet stays fresh for several months after opening. Sealed, it lasts well over a year. I keep an extra canister in the back of my pantry at all times now. If supply pressures hit or prices spike further, which they could given ongoing issues with coffee-producing regions, I am already covered. Product number 5, Charmin toilet paper. Charmin has one of the most effective advertising campaigns in grocery history. Bears. Soft. Ultra strong. Ultra soft. They have convinced a huge portion of the country that bathroom tissue quality is something worth paying a premium for every single time. And people do. Charmin Ultra Soft at Walmart in a standard pack works out to between 5 and 7 cents per square foot depending on the pack size and sale events. Great Value 2-ply toilet paper. A 30-count pack runs about $19.98 at Walmart. That breaks down to a significantly lower per square foot cost than Charmin. Costco's Great Value comparison is even more striking. Consumer Reports comparison shopping found store-brand toilet paper coming in at roughly 2 to 3 cents per square foot versus name brands in the 4 to 7 cent range. The paper products category has been identified repeatedly by researchers and the U.S. Government Accountability Office as one of the most shrinkflation-affected categories in the grocery store. Sheet counts have declined. Roll widths have narrowed subtly. Yet the price on name brands has either stayed stable or increased. You are literally getting less paper for more money on many of the name brand packs compared to several years ago. I made the switch to Great Value toilet paper 8 months ago. Honestly, and I know this is a sensitive topic for some people, it is fine. It is completely fine. My household of 4 has not had a single complaint that I know is related to the paper change. I bought a 30-count Great Value pack for just under $20. That same sized equivalent in Charmin Ultra Soft would run me closer to $30 to $32 at most stores. That is a $12 difference on one purchase. Over a year, this household switch saves us somewhere between $75 and $100. Toilet paper does not expire. It stores forever. Stack it in a closet or under a bed, and you are protected from any future price swings. Product number 6, Cheerios. And here it is, number 6, the one I warned you about at the start of this video. Cheerios, the little yellow box with the honeybee. The cereal that millions of people, including me, grew up eating at the kitchen table before school. This is a pantry staple in most American homes, and General Mills has been raising the price on it steadily while the box has gotten noticeably lighter over the past several years. Here is what got me. A standard 18-ounce box of regular Cheerios right now is running between $5 and $7, depending on the retailer. That is somewhere between 28 and 39 cents per ounce. Now, look at what Walmart's Great Value toasted oat cereal, essentially the same product, same whole grain oat base, same round shape, costs. It is typically around $2.50 for a comparable size. That is under 14 cents per ounce. NPR did a detailed price check at Walmart stores earlier this year and found that while Cheerios pricing has fluctuated, even dropping some under competitive pressure, the price gap between the name brand and store brand equivalent has remained wide. General Mills confirmed publicly they plan to discount some of their offerings because consumers were actively switching away. That alone tells you everything. When a brand the size of General Mills starts cutting prices, it means people started leaving, and they left for the store brand. I buy cereal every single week. Every week. And I used to buy Cheerios or Honey Nut Cheerios every time without thinking. I made the swap to Great Value toasted oats about 3 months ago. I was nervous. I am going to be honest with you. That first bowl felt weird. Not because it tasted different, it barely did, but because the box looked different. That is habit. That is the power of branding working on your brain. 3 months in, and I have saved approximately $35 just on cereal. For one household. For one cereal. The Great Value version uses the same whole grain oats and meets the same nutritional profile. I picked up 4 boxes on my last Walmart run for about $10 total. 4 comparable Cheerios boxes would have been over $20. Cereal stores well in a sealed container or even just a sealed clip on the bag inside the box. In a cool pantry, it lasts for many months. Stock up on this one without hesitation. Product number 7, Quaker Instant Oatmeal. Quaker Oats has been in American kitchens since the 1800s. The man in the hat on the box is one of the most recognized brand images in food history. And like Cheerios, Quaker trades heavily on that decades-long familiarity. A 12-packet box of Quaker Instant Oatmeal in the variety pack runs around $5 to $6 at most retailers right now. That is roughly 40 to 50 cents per individual packet. Great Value Instant Oatmeal variety packs at Walmart. you can get 10 packets for just under $2.50. That is 25 cents per packet. Half the price. Same basic quick oat space. Same hot water preparation. Oat commodity prices have been under pressure from weather events affecting major growing regions. Quaker and its parent company PepsiCo have faced real cost pressure. But the price consumers are paying for the brand name far exceeds what those input costs alone would justify. A significant portion of what you are paying for is the Quaker brand and its advertising budget. I did a side-by-side prep at home one morning. Quaker maple brown sugar packet. Great value maple brown sugar packet. Made them at the same time, same amount of water, same weight. I brought them to the kitchen table without labels and asked my wife to tell me which was which. She pointed to the wrong one. I grabbed 3 boxes of great value instant oatmeal on my last stock-up. Paid under $8 for all 3. Equivalent Quaker purchase would have been close to $17 or $18. Quick Oats sealed in their packet store extremely well, typically a year or more. Keep a box or 2 extra in the pantry. It is one of the most versatile, shelf-stable foods you can have in the house. Product number 8, Dawn Dish Soap. Dawn is another Procter & Gamble heavyweight, and it has a very specific piece of brand equity that is hard to shake: the wildlife rescue advertising. The images of baby ducks being cleaned with Dawn dish soap are burned into the collective consciousness. It is brilliant marketing, and you are paying for it every single time you buy that blue bottle. A 28-ounce bottle of Dawn Original at major retailers is running between $4 and $5 right now. That is roughly 14 to 18 cents per fluid ounce. Great value original blue dish soap at Walmart. A 38-ounce bottle for around $2.50. That is under 7 cents per fluid ounce. More product, less than half the price per ounce. Dawn is extremely well formulated, and nobody is denying that. The degreasing performance is real. But dish soap is dish soap at this price tier for everyday household use. You are cutting through grease and food residue after dinner, not conducting industrial cleaning. The gap between Dawn's performance and a quality store brand for typical dishwashing is not meaningful enough to justify paying 2.5 times the cost per ounce. A retail sourcing analyst I spoke with noted that dish soap formulation at the mass market level is one of the more standardized product categories. The surfactant technology that does the cleaning is well understood, and store brand manufacturers have had decades to replicate it effectively. I bought 2 38-ounce great value dish soap bottles last month for about $5 total. 2 comparable Dawn bottles of the same fluid ounce equivalent would have been close to $11 or $12. I saved $6 on one item in one trip. Dish soap has a very long shelf life, usually 12 to 18 months and often longer in practice. Keeping 2 bottles in reserve under the kitchen sink is smart, cheap insurance. Product number 9, Skippy Peanut Butter. Last one, and this one is genuinely worth your full attention because peanut butter is one of those staple items that quietly climbed in price while most people were not watching. Skippy Creamy Peanut Butter, a 40-ounce jar at Walmart, is running around $7 right now. That is about 17 to 18 cents per ounce. Great value creamy peanut butter at Walmart. A 40-ounce jar comes in at around $4, just around 10 cents per ounce. $3 full cheaper for the exact same jar size. Peanut butter prices have been pressured by peanut crop variability and elevated processing costs. Skippy and the other name brands absorbed some of those cost increases and passed a portion to consumers. But what you also need to know is that multiple consumer investigations and blind taste tests over the years have shown that store-brand peanut butter, particularly Walmart's Great Value version, consistently performs at or near the level of the name brand on taste and texture. There have been multiple documented cases where Great Value peanut butter and major name brands are processed in overlapping supply chains. I will be honest, this was a hard one for me personally. I've been buying Skippy since I was a kid. Skippy on white bread. Skippy in my kid's lunchbox. It felt like changing something fundamental. But I bought Great Value Creamy Peanut Butter about 2 months ago, and I opened it with low expectations. It was fine. It was genuinely fine. Creamy, spreadable, tastes like peanut butter. My kids ate their sandwiches and did not say a word. I picked up 3 40-ounce jars of Great Value peanut butter for $12. 3 Skippy jars of the same size would have been closer to $21. I saved $9 on 3 jars. Peanut butter is one of the most shelf-stable foods in your pantry. Unopened, it can last well over a year easily. This is an ideal stock-up item. Buy several jars now and put the savings back in your pocket where they belong. So here is what I want you to see now that we have gone through all 9 of these. This is not about one product. It is not about being cheap or settling. It is about recognizing a pattern that is happening across almost every aisle in every major grocery store in this country right now. Name brands built their pricing power over decades of advertising. They trained you, all of us, to reach for the same package every single time without looking at the number on the shelf tag. And for a long time, the price premium was smaller. It felt almost reasonable, but the gap has grown. The shrinkflation has made the packages smaller. The input cost pressures have pushed prices higher, and the brand name itself has started to feel less like a quality signal and more like a loyalty tax. The people who are catching this earliest are the ones who will protect their budgets the most. Private label sales in the United States hit $330 billion in 2025 alone. That is a quarter of the entire grocery market. Store brands are growing nearly 3 times faster than name brands right now. People are already switching. The question is whether you are switching with intention, based on real numbers, or just waiting until the pain gets bad enough. What I want you to take from today's video is simple. The next time you are at Walmart, Costco, Target, or wherever you shop, just pause for 30 seconds in front of one item on this list. Pull up the unit price. Do the math. See for yourself what you have been overpaying. Start with one switch, then maybe 2. You do not have to overhaul your entire cart in one trip, but every switch you make thoughtfully is money that stays in your household instead of going to a brand's marketing budget. Most people watching this video will nod, think it makes sense, and then reach for the same bottle they always grab next time they shop. I hope you are not most people. The folks who act on this today are the ones who will look back in 6 months and wonder why they waited so long. If this video helped you, hit that like button right now. It takes 1 second, and it makes a real difference in how many people this video reaches. Subscribe if you have not already. I put out content like this every week, and I am not slowing down. We have got more supply chain deep dives, price comparisons, and stock-up strategies coming very soon. I appreciate you watching this all the way through. That means something to me. See you in the next one.